Minister, thank you for being here today to answer these questions. And I would like to request that the Department for Housing, Local Government and Heritage carry out a review to examine amending the building regulations to include the mandatory installation of adequate toilet facilities for disabled people and their carers, known as changing places facilities. Minister, you'll know that while Part M of the building regulations state that new buildings must include standard wheelchair-accessible toilet facilities, these do not allow for the more severely disabled adults and teens who may require incontinence pad changing facilities, a larger square meterage floor area to allow for carers, and the use of a hoist. The campaign group Changing Places has established a template for a changing facility that allows equity of access to all. These are accessible for those who need carer support for sanitary and toilet use. Changing Places rooms have a higher ceiling to allow for a hoist. They have a larger floor space to accommodate carers. They have a centralised toilet to allow for carer support, and vitally, a height-adjustable, adult-sized changing bench. At the moment, Minister, there are just 15 Changing Places facilities in the entire Republic of Ireland, just 15. To put this in context, I would like to tell you about Sophia, and I have Sophia's family's permission to highlight her situation here in the Dáil this evening. Sophia is a wonderful young woman. She's 13 years of age. She loves her dog, her brother, her sister, eating ice cream. Sophia also has cerebral palsy and arthrogryposis and has had surgery for scoliosis. Sophia is non-verbal and requires the use of an adult-sized changing bench for toilet use. Recently, Sophia and her family visited me in Bray, and when I asked where the nearest Changing Places facility was, her father, Aaron, told me there are none available in the entire county of Wicklow, and Wicklow is not unique in this regard. Many parents have experienced the frustration of seeking baby-changing facilities only to find they're not available, but usually with a small baby you can just make do. This is not the case for people with certain disabilities. In Sophia's case, every trip, every visit is planned with an adequate toilet facility in mind, and bear in mind there's only 15 in the country, and very often Aaron, her father, told me they just don't bother going anywhere at all because of the lack of access to these facilities. Minister, I believe every person should have access to adequate bathroom facilities. It's neither reasonable nor acceptable to expect that people like Sophia just make do when making do involves a complete loss of her dignity. Her parents must attempt to change her in the back of their van or limit their trips to only one of a handful of locations that can accommodate her needs. Recently, the UK Government announced that changes will be made to legislation to install compulsory changing places in new public buildings such as shopping centres and art galleries and sports stadium or libraries or larger public buildings from 2021. I believe that we should now examine changing the building regulations to ensure that planning applications for public buildings, suitable public buildings, include a Changing Places toilet facility. As we learn to live with COVID, we must be mindful of the vulnerable who will look to this government to act for them in ensuring their dignity, safety and well-being. I hope that you will work with me, Minister, and the Minister for Planning, Housing and Local Government to meet with the campaigners in Changing Places, who comprise of representatives from many disability advocacy groups, and listen to them to ensure that young women like Sophia can go about their day with the dignity they deserve.